Around 2015, a Roblox game by the name of Arsenal was created. It wasn't until 2019 the game skyrocketed in players and the game became one of the most popular games on the front page of Roblox for a couple years. They had averaged around 50 to 60,000 players every single day. Then 2021 came around and the player count massively turns against Arsenal. Although the concurrent players were still very high for an FPS game on Roblox, it only had around 20,000 players every single day. But for going from 50,000 all the way down to 20,000, that's a really big hit. What happened to the game and why did people really stop playing it? There are many different aspects as to why the game started losing players and really declining. One of the biggest problems in particular was the developers taking a long break at the beginning of 2021 from working on the game and pushing out updates. No updates really made the game that's already very repetitive feel even more repetitive because of the lack of content inside that game. There were absolutely no events going on in this game and absolutely no events going on either. And the reason why I mention events is because recently Sony worked very hard on a pretty cool event that required us gathering swords, which used to only be exclusive to developers, but now everybody could actually get them. There was also an update or event that was supposed to happen back in January. If anybody remembers, it was the graffiti war that Midnight Crystal was talking about. He said that he planned for it to come out in January, hopefully, but it never really did come out, and now we're all the way up in April and it still has not come out. But anyways, the lackage of updates were only part of the issue though. Other issues arising were competitors such as Bed Wars, Pet Simulator X, and other Roblox games releasing and making consistent updates, unlike what Arsenal did. But that gave those games more content for more players to not only enjoy, but also interest creators to make content off of. When these games came out, most Arsenal content creators moved to those games because Arsenal was losing content and not as many people were as interested as they were in Arsenal, but they were more interested in new content that Bed Wars and other games were offering. The repetitiveness of Arsenal was not really helping itself either. Every single game that you'd play on Arsenal was very similar to each other, and when you do it a couple 100,000 times, you eventually get very bored of the game. However, what really pushed a lot of players to continue playing was the competition of the game. A good chunk of the Arsenal high-level community really wanted to push to be the highest level, but on March 29th of 2021, a YouTuber by the name Fusion Boys had hit level 1000 in Arsenal. He was the first player to ever hit level 1000 in Roblox Arsenal. This brought many other players wanting to reach that goal and even pass him up. So June 4th comes around, Storm1348 reaches level 1000 with Fusion, and eventually he passes Fusion Boys up and would eventually become the highest level player in Arsenal by a long shot. Like, I think he's level 1200 now, and like the second highest is like 1130 something or something, which is absolutely insane. But many players grinded the game insanely just to get ridiculously high levels to flex. Around the start of 2020, many players wanted to get the fastest game possible in a public match. This was the biggest goal back in the day. Competition between myself, Fusion Boys, and other Arsenal YouTubers tried to get insanely quick times to win the fastest game of Arsenal. This was not something that you could just straight up do. You had to get very lucky lobbies. You had to get players that would stand still, players that couldn't aim, players that sucked at the game, mainly players that would just walk into the middle of the map and feed kills to you, basically. This was honestly the most fun competition in all of Arsenal, just because of how hard it was to get speedruns in this game. Also, might I add, competitive did not exist during this time. Speedruns were built off of standard, so you had to deal with bows and all kinds of other garbage out of the game, instead of easy point and click to win weapons. On February 5th of 2020, I had gotten the fastest game being 1 minute and 17 seconds for a game of Arsenal standard. It wasn't until April 5th of that year that I had beat the time by a whole 2 seconds. Then, on May 1st of 2020, Fusion Boys finally beat my time and got a 109. As we both pushed harder and harder, it would end up in him getting the first sub 1 minute game on Sandtown. Nowadays, the fastest game is like 48 seconds, which is absolutely insane. But the competition between getting the fastest game possible is really made me want to play the game even more and more. I mean, that's what built my channel, and that's what I really enjoyed about Arsenal. Now, that was just a couple of the problems and issues that this game ran into. There were other problems such as bugs, hit registration issues that really put the game down to where it is now. But like I mentioned earlier, this game still has the highest concurrent players for an FPS game on Roblox. Way more than Phantom Forces ever had in its prime. Now, hopefully this video covered most of the aspects that were really putting Arsenal as to where it is today, with much lower player counts and less content being made. But if there's anything you think I've missed, feel free to mention it in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. And I will see you all in the next video. So anyways, boys, goodbye. Oh my gosh! Let's freaking go! Let's freaking go, baby! Oh my gosh!